Yo,
Yo,
yo.
Yup. Let's go. That we are back.
Man, I'm so young.
The
Standing on my
podcast.
10 toes, I stay strong.
Episode
So I still move on, no matter what goes on.
11.
Starting from a far place, moving on. Because I started from a far place. I'm all about the money making. I don't got time for any haters. No, trying to go see different places.
Yes,
Because I
we
started
are.
from a far place. I'm all about the money making. I don't got time for any
Oh
haters.
man. Always hyped up when that
Shout out
intro
to
song comes in. Hey, go
that
ahead,
intro
bro.
so dope, bro. Yeah, shout out to Mr. Bryan, man. Good job, brother.
Mr. Bryan right
Wefobz.
there.
Mr. Bryan?
Yeah, Mr. Bryan, Bryan, one of the exclusive artists we helped bring into the platform. Did that for us all the way from Ghana.
nice.
Oh, man. Wakanda forever.
Oh, look at my avatar doing that fake laugh. Welcome back, ladies and gents. This is another episode of Wefobz the Podcast. We're on episode 11, and you are keeping it posted right here with Chieflott,
Reserve. What's up?
Ray,
Hey,
and introducing Puni Moa
Woo! Yes.
and
Yeah.
guysosmooth. This is definitely a very momentous occasion right here. But before we get any further down the line with what we got going on today, because we got some pretty cool topics to cover, let's get over on the little disclaimer here. Everything we say and do on this podcast, whatever happens here, is for educational entertainment purposes only, everyone. We don't pretend to be specialists on these topics, but we do enjoy covering them for our own curiosity, and we'd like you to share in that curiosity as we discuss what goes on. Now that that's said, let's get into the Wefobz mission. Can somebody give me the Wefobz mission?
Yes, sir. At the Wefobz mission, we promote, encourage the changing of negative mindsets, stigmas, situations, and encounter into positive outcomes. So when you find yourself down and about, look us up here at Wefobz Podcast. We can be able to uplift you. Amen. That's all I got.
Makasele.
Oh man.
It's
You
the
all see.
stars in my eyes that are just making me feel like a star.
a superstar.
Puni's our new host. Puni Moa is our new host. Going to be joining us on our journey with a couple of these podcasts going forward. Thank you to Puni Moa for coming in. It's the same as Gray as we introduce the new host coming forward. You all are going to get our 4 different perspectives on the topics that we cover going forward. Wefobz Nation. So you definitely always want to tune in. Like Puni Moa said, wefobz.io/podcasts. That's where you want to find us. We'll put the link up down below. You always want to like, share, comment. We love those comments when those comments come in, and follow whenever you can. We're on all the social media channels. So, we got to get into these topics, these nice hot topics we got going. I know we decided to put a couple of them back from the previous episode that we did. And as we go forward, we're going to start getting into those topics that we enjoy. But these are the ones we found for this podcast.
Sounds good.
We got 3 for today, everyone. So the first one we're going to go over is a question of COVID. We got COVID coming back up in the news again. That's been going around world, actually local U.S. national news. The other one we're going to be covering is cryptids and Mexico's president. Okay, we're gonna go over that. Cryptids it's an interesting topic that a lot of people are like, what the hell? What the hell? Don't worry, we'll get you up to date on that, ladies and gents, boys and girls. And the final topic we're gonna go over for today or tonight, wherever you're listening to for this podcast, is Faalavelave. It's something to do with the Samoan culture, and I know we've all got our different perspectives on this topic as well. So, whew, what was that? It gets me kind of feel like there's a lot in my brain, and my mouth got to keep up with what I gotta say. But let's talk COVID, everyone. Let's talk COVID. We're just coming off of that pandemic. What, 2 years back? 2020 when it started. It's 2023 now. Woo! So COVID's back in the news because there's branches of the U.S. government that are saying that, man, we found out COVID there's a huge possibility COVID accidentally leaked out of a Chinese lab, a lab in China. Everybody remember those were big topics even during the political races for the presidency. And they're really still trying to get at the origins of COVID. And it's been coming back up in the news. That's been all over the news lately. And of course, China releases a formal statement saying, hell no, we told you guys it didn't come from us. Well, it didn't start in a lab. We gave you access. They're saying that they gave access to the World Health Organization and all their doctors and stuff to come in, and scientists, and figure out where COVID was coming from. But if you look at, I don't know, that, I would say that, what would you call it? Is it a disease? They're calling it a disease? Pandemic.
What, the COVID?
COVID. COVID itself, unlike any we've experienced before. What do y'all think with it coming back into the news like that? Thoughts?
Yeah, the last I heard, man, if I heard this correctly, it was a coronavirus lab that they were testing. And then they make the claim that it leaked out of this lab.
Yeah, they're saying accidentally, and it spread across the whole world.
But with the intention of it being like there was a coronavirus lab. It leaked from a lab of scientists or
that were studying, coronavirus before coronavirus was even exposed. Right?
Yeah.
And if there was that, to me, that sounds intentional.
Well,
experiment on something new, or am I missing some?
I'm pretty sure a lot of the superpower nations, they do it already. Chemical warfare, right?
Mhm.
They may act like they're clean, but I'm not a specialist in the area, but of course,
what was the whole purpose of studying it, testing it?
Yeah.
It's almost like a conspiracy, more so to rattle cages and to sideline whatever a bigger issue is in the world. And I think every country probably has their own labs where they have to test medicine to see what's working and what's not. So somebody probably just got sloppy or got paid to get sloppy to kind of shut down the whole world. I mean, I'm not laughing because I know a lot of people lost their lives to COVID, but I think that it's almost like, I think even during the whole pandemic thing, it was almost like a wash of wiping out the world, and bringing in this change of going back to the politics of the economy, money, and reverting everything to technology. And what's the fastest and the easiest way to change the whole game? You kind of have to, what is it? What's the word to depopulate the population and the masses, and basically brainwash, the world to be forced to rely on technology. And COVID, there you go. Part 20.
She's theorizing, ladies and gents. She's theorizing. It's allegedly, we're not saying this really happened this way or not. It's a heavy subject, and like Gray has said,
Opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I just think they had a plan to do something with it, like exactly what Gray's talking about. Probably try to wipe up the whole world, or I don't know, just in China or something, and then just to accidentally leak out and then try to play dumb. Like I don't think it's no secret. Everybody knows that a lot of crazy stuff is coming from China, and they're just so uluku, so to speak, in my opinion.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. What does this coconut know, right?
Too much.
I like the eyebrows. I like the eyebrows moving. Yeah, I mean, it's like phew. Who has like reliable resources nowadays as far as when it comes to news? I've looked in it on YouTube. I looked at it on the actual CBS News, Fox News. They're all saying the same thing. Feels like a distraction, even like through social media. A lot of people is, there's so many things. To me, I look at it as it's a distraction from going back to the whole China trying to aid Russia. That could be a reason of throwing that out there, just to get us the world, because yes, COVID, when it did strike us, that was pretty much the world was quiet, and for us to all in the U.S. not work, majority, besides the essential workers, that's a good way to trigger something. Nothing's gonna get leaked out of China unless China wants to get it leaked out. Vice versa, U.S. is the same way. Every country is the same way. They're not just gonna throw us a bone and try to have us,
allegedly.
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 Everything I'm saying is allegedly coming out of this, But yeah, that's how I feel about the COVID. I just got back from LA. Everything was normal. I'm back here in South Carolina. None of us where I've been at, nobody's panicking about it. The only people that are panicking is like the news and social media about it. But my eyes haven't seen anything, happening as far as the coming of COVID part 2. Everybody's getting vaccine. What vaccine are we on now? 4, 5? The double shot, triple shot.
6 or 7 in. I don't know. There's so many different kinds since there was all these breakout variants. I think what they're trying to get at is just because there's been an ongoing investigation into where COVID came from. They still haven't pinned it down. They used to say it was a Chinese meat market, which had exotic different meats over there. People ate different things. They were trying to blame it on bats, which I think that's the other part of the story that everybody needs to understand, from our communities, is the COVID that they were studying in these labs. They were saying that it was coronavirus from bats, and somebody dropped the vial, it cracked, and it spread the virus. We think we got the bad end of it. China, a huge population of China got hit with that, and sadly wiped out. And China really put a freaking they put the blinds on that to the media, and that's where I think everybody's pissed, because China knew about this. It's been what they said, they had it 2 years in already, before our 2 years started, before 2020 hit with us, because they said they've had it for a while in the different Chinese provinces. This is what's been going on over there. And they can keep a tight lid on whatever they put out in the news, because China controls the news. The ruling party in China controls the news.
That's interesting.
So the thing with China, that's what they're saying. There's so much different data that was collected and different things that happened. It affected the U.S. and the world, both politically, economically. Look at the economy. COVID jacked jacked the economy. That's how bad it is. And when the economy rose by everything being delivered and everything around the world stopped. But it's kind of scary if you think about it. Like one disease could do all of that. But you all remember, because China used to have a lot of breakout of diseases. China and Africa. Remember SARS?
Yeah.
That's why they were all wearing Ebola. That's why they were always wearing masks before then. And now the world started getting into wearing masks. And the thing with masks is actually masks do it already helps with trying to keep you from getting sick like the cold and flu anyways. But you know, everybody was saying it's our freedom to wear. We should choose whether we wear masks or stuff. That's a whole different story. But once again, the reason why we covered the topic of COVID because it was back in the news again, and it was only in the news for not the variants that are happening, but it was in the news for because they're saying there's a big possibility. This is from the Office of Energy for the U.S. government. I don't know what they're doing investigating COVID like that, but I guess it affects energy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I think we could see the connection there. But they said, yeah, there's a big possibility COVID came from a lab. It happened in a lab and accidentally, accidentally leaked or intentionally leaked.
That's what they said, right? That was the report from China,
Yeah.
that it's from a coronavirus lab.
Yes.
And it all of a sudden got leaked out.
Yep,
I mean, that's an indication that, you know, like Puni said, you know what I mean? It's a distraction. To me, it seems like it's intentional, man. Like to focus on what they're doing with Russia.
And
but then going to what you're saying,
Allegedly.
I think it really did. Allegedly, whatever. What I'm saying is, I think it was a breakthrough for technology, though, in the United States, which makes where the technology took a very big leap and shook the economy, where people are just quitting jobs now.
Yeah.
And technology, digital world is taking over. That was a good thing that came out of it. Well, not good. It's just I just see that's kind of what happened economically, damaging for the United States, and then here we are, coconuts on the podcast. I mean, I didn't.
Well, go ahead.
I mean, I can see why China does that. I never stayed in China, but I flew by. We had a layover, and we were heading. I forget we were heading out to probably like Thailand or somewhere like that. But we had to stop in China and overnight out there. And the crazy thing about it, as soon as you walk around, man, like there was so many soldiers at the airport, and they had I think they called AK-47s, somewhat like that, right? And then we had like this, because it was an overnight, the airlines give you an overnight pay at their hotels. But remember, you got to have a stamped passport to even enter in their country. And it was kind of scary. I ain't gonna lie though, because we were in the shuttle, and then as we're driving to our hotel, the hotel was probably like 4 miles away from the airport, but there was like no cars around. It was just shuttles, taxis, and most of it like what is it, like army or military vehicles, and they have their posts. You know how they blockage stuff, like when you have like 2 cars blocking the road, and they put like a post in the front, and they come up into like the military people come into the bus, check the papers, and then as we're driving to the hotel, you see all their I guess you want to say 12, anything like the high risers, the buildings, every single building you see, they were all built concrete, but no windows. It reminded me like houses in Samoa. People just looking inside the window, like it's poverty. Like the airport was the only nice looking thing. And then it just felt like a third world country. Like, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Oh, but I guess it's kind of like pretty much driving through Samoa, really. Oh, you see like banana leaves, you see like like the island stuff, and just a whole lot of plantation. I'm like, wow, I see that. And then plus when I was in Korea, everybody wore masks. And mind you, this is like 2014 at that time. Everybody
we were just coming off of the SARS, the bird flu, the bird virus. Remember
but everybody in South Korea were wearing masks. And I'm like, why are you wearing masks? But they, you know how the Space Needle in Seattle, they
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that kind of stuff out there in Seoul, and they have their tower, and it lights up. So when it's green or blue, everything's okay. But when it turns red, everybody puts on masks, and the reason why is because they call it the yellow dust,
Ooh,
and it's all
wow.
factories in China
That blows over. It's
yeah,
see,
bro.
man,
Yeah, that's why I was like, man, I ain't surprised why people are pointing their finger at China, because allegedly, but that's just through my eyes. I'm like, this is crazy.
well, you see, it kind of brings the point back to our previous podcast where we say, the privileges we enjoy in the U.S. that we don't have to go through that because we had all these systems set up, these health systems set up to monitor this kind of thing. And I guess somewhere along the line between the transfer of power between two different power factions in the U.S., being the Republican and Democrats, there was a breakdown in the health because we had a health watchdog that used to watch for these things, whether they came over or not. It was set in place by previous administrations because of SARS and the bird flu, the avian bird flu, Ebola. But they just said we dropped the ball back in that day. But then again, it's as Chief says, man, that when the COVID came out, it was so freaking potent. Like it attacked. I don't know if you all caught COVID, but I personally caught COVID. That thing took all, like, it'll go after all your weaknesses or previous illnesses, and it'll raise the bar on those things, bring it back to pain. It was no joke when I had it. I really did feel like I was.
The only thing that when I got caught with COVID, that I just lost a sense of taste and a sense of smell.
Oh, yeah, I got
that's
really sick, really sick.
I don't think I caught it, but when at work at the time, they said that if you have it, you can stay home and get paid. I kind of faked it and just kind of. So, I don't know if that counts, but I did stay home, quarantine.
14 days.
And when someone remember when it was so hardcore, right? When someone caught the case over there, and you're around the surroundings.
Yeah.
I made sure I was nearby, so I got like a week off too as well for paid. I was like, outside of that, I don't know if I got it. That happened so many times. It's just kind of routine.
I actually did that same thing too. Remember COVID went for 2 years, and my job was essential, so I was pissed. I was just working through the COVID. So a lot of our employees will just call in sick and be like, I got the COVID. Automatically get 2 weeks off, right? But they pay you for 1 week. But it was so bad that we all knew that we can still claim unemployment under the COVID unemployment. So we was getting money through that, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? Getting paid twice. Like, gotta give it back, man.
Yeah. COVID brought out the darkness in a lot of things. And, a lot of people, man, it wasn't a good look for a lot of people around everywhere. Everybody, you know how everybody was standoffish if you like coughed or sneezed in public or stuff like that back then. People all acted scared. So to the day, they still have the discussion and debate of like violating their freedoms on whether they should wear a mask or not, whether they should stay home or not.
That's so typical American.
It is, and the privileges we get to even argue that point. You all already proved. Puni already proved it. Chief, you already talked about it. Gray, you already know. They can't argue that point in China and stuff like that. China controls what you argue. They control the media. I mean, they have one app out there. What is it? WeChat or something like that? Everything goes through that one app. And they have like a social point maker or something like that. If you even say one thing bad against the Chinese administration, they'll put you up in jail. Even if you text it in social media. I mean, they'll do that.
But don't you guys think that's like our perspective as Americans, because we come from a country that's very westernized, and our opinions and our mindset is like what we deem as freedom is something completely different to a whole nother country.
And I want to even add to that. Everybody says it's westernized. I don't think it's Western. America is the land of freedom. I mean, you can't compare us to Europe and stuff. They have different types of things that they do there that they cannot do there that we can do, which is the difference, right?
But that's my whole point, is that like these countries, like how Puni had described what his experience was in those Asian countries, I don't see us getting, not to say that we get a free pass at COVID or AIDS or Ebola, but in those different parts of the countries, the climate does impact your lifestyle and how individuals live in those, those parts of the world. And so I feel like even as an American, carefully and respectfully, I think it's just a whole nother ball game as far as like the experiences that they are that they live through. What we have, apparently we have advanced medical care, right? But it's not free for everybody. However, in these other countries that might seem third world to us, it's probably not really needed. Like some countries still rely on their own medicines from their ancestors, and some people just really live off the land, which is okay. But I think my point is that with not to the focal point is China, yes. However, I think that is a whole nother country with a whole nother outlook and perspective on what our values are as Americans, and as far as safety and just the value of life. And because it's interesting, because if you really think about it, Asians are actually very family oriented, and their values are just as conservative, even though it's a communist country. I mean,
well, it's actually what we're referring to. It's not even the values of that. It's actually humanist. It's about being human, and I think that's what a lot of people try to get on China's case. Humanitarian, how they treat their people. Then, like you said, what gives you the right to go over there and tell them how to treat their people? Like tell them how things should be or how they are, whether it happens there.
Yeah, I mean, respectfully, I don't. There's other practices around the world that really seem, and that as if I were to view it from the lens of a Christian, yeah, that's not okay that you treat women or men or children as such. However, I feel like as a human being, and respectfully, that is, and I hate to say that so loosely, unfortunately, that is it. I feel like that's the truth. Some practices and some cultures and some customs we may not agree to it, and that's okay. And that's why I say, like, I think we had this discussion in a previous podcast. It's we got to take care of where we're at in our space. I feel like as Americans, take care of your front porch before you go take care of that whole nation.
Mind your business.
Well, we all did discuss. We are going to take care of the front porch, but then it's kind of tough for us to. It's not us. It's up to the leaders that we put in place to do that. And they don't do it because we already addressed this before. They don't do it because they got companies in these foreign nations, and that's why they're picking on these foreign nations to do stuff. Globalization, and they say you can't close us down. You can't close down my McDonald's and stuff. It's a whole new story. But again, we bring it right back, ladies and gents, back to why we were talking about this topic. Because as we were about to close out this topic and get into another interesting topic, COVID was in the news. Let's not make light of. Remember, I don't know if you all noticed, because just like 2 months ago or a month ago, China locked down their whole country again. Like, it was bad. That's why right now China's got riots going on. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to put it out in the media, but people are really, really getting disgruntled with the ruling administration in China. They literally like weld bars onto like the the openings for some of these buildings, like these buildings with people living in them, and people in China were not liking that at all. Like it was really, I think it still is bad, and the riots are going on, but China is controlling what's being put out in the media.
Wow.
So those are some things to think about, everybody, with the COVID coming back into the news. Always be on your guard when it comes to news like this. Always be aware, Wefobz Nation. You always want to know where things are coming from. We're not going to be caught with our pants down again, figure of speech, with that last pandemic. We now understand what we need to do in the pandemic going forward, and I hope we understand. But let's move on. What you all say? Let's get to the next topic. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is a fun one. Fun, mysterious one. So
like this one.
I'm gonna give it to you all like this. The president of Mexico claims he has proof of mythical woodland elf. So this is from AP News. I think the writer is Jessica Abrahams here, right here. Mexico's president shared what he said was a photo of a mythical woodland elf that he claimed provided evidence of the existence of mischievous Mayan spirits. Oh, the Mayans are in news. President, I'm going to butcher this. Please forgive me. Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, I hope that's how it's pronounced, posted a photo to his social media accounts that he claimed showed an alux from ancient folklore. The grainy photo, which appears to have been taken at night, shows an indistinct creature in a tree. The president suggests the creature resembled a sculpture from an archaeological site on the Yucatan Peninsula. Wow. Woodland elves. Cryptids. Before I open up the floor to everyone, I want to give everyone the definition of a cryptid. Cryptids are animals that cryptozoologists believe may exist somewhere in the world, but are not recognized by science. And this comes to you by Wikipedia, if you Google it. Talk to me, people. We got mythical beings in the news and world leaders starting to talk about it. What does that tell you about 2023 going forward? Because a lot of these stories are starting to pop out into the mainstream media.
You know what we call those mythical creatures in Samoa? And I've seen that picture. They're called, what are they called? What are they called again, guys? Ole Moikolo. As soon as I seen that photo, I was like, tell me, that looks like a Moikolo, man. I was just like, allegedly. Yeah, man. I'm like, what the heck? It's no difference from my people from Mangua. You know, we got a lot of stories about them ancient monsters and creatures.
Right? To us, it's like natural to us, right? Being
It's
from an
almost
indigenous culture. And I think this can be said for all the indigenous cultures. It's like natural. It's like secondhand. It's like, oh yeah, it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then ask me if it exists. I'm like, I'm sure it does exist.
And then you're talking to people. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Wasn't our previous couple podcasts ago we were talking about UFOs, man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last one.
And there's a pattern going on here, man. If people are in denial, man, I don't know what to tell you, man.
True story.
Here, let me give you guys some inside info, because remember, I keep going over the podcast and the news for us for Wefobz Nation just to make sure that we're on top of everything. And again, I'm not promoting this guy's YouTube channel, but it just appears on my feed from Joe Rogan. So they started talking about, there was a scientist on that channel just recently, within the last day or so, that the U.S. government is trying to make a big reveal on some freaky shit, but they keep putting it off. And he's alluding to the fact that it dealt with like UFOs and mysterious stuff that's out there. That
this is all in the same space, right? Could we agree that when we talk about UFOs and we talk about these cryptids
and we talk about the supernatural, it's all within. That's why we warmed everybody up to taboos and stuff. I mean, please forgive us if it's taboo to talk about, but these are subjects we can't ignore, right, Chief?
Yeah.
It's
Isn't
happening
this like
in the main
another layer?
news. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, right? Like mainstream is exposing this.
Yeah.
Something is definitely up.
It definitely is.
It's not. I mean, like it's not like we didn't know, but something's definitely going up. So, why are they frontlining this in the mainstream media? For whatever reason, man, something sneaky's going on. Man.
It's kind of a good thing too. It's preparation, so nobody says, "Oh shit, what's going on?"
It kind of brings me back to the point that Puni said, like, are they trying to distract us, or you know?
Oh man, I don't even want to say what.
Say it. You gotta say it. Come on now. Come on.
Of course, they're trying to distract us, man. They're trying to get the Mexicans over here in our country, so they got to do something. Allegedly.
How many Mexicans came across now with the numbers, man? Are we
man. Hey,
wasn't it a million?
Let me speak some truth on it, but if you ever want to call it alleged, no matter what we say though, but you know, the Mexicans, they the true people of the land, man. They've been here for thousands of years. Come on now. Thousands. They're indigenous like us. Like,
you know those that creature they're talking about, right? I mean, I like you said, Joe Rogan, right? I looked into it, and right after you sent me the
link. Yep.
The link on it. The Joe Rogan one is some other like scientist dude talking about them creatures that, you know, because you got the Mayans.
Yes,
and
yes.
it's different and ancient ones that are before the Mayans. You know what I'm talking about? Bro, but anyway, it's some kind of people before the Mayans, and he was saying something that it could be from descendants of Polynesians or Africa. That's what he was saying. That's what I'm talking about, boy.
You already know they said that Polynesians came. The Polynesians been to California way before Columbus, right? You already know they set the precedence for that, right? Vikings, Polynesians, there's been people in the Americas way before people thought they were in the Americas. Now that you're taking us down this rabbit hole, Puni Moa, let me take you all down a more deeper rabbit hole. So they're finding out all these, this pre-flood. When I talk about pre-flood,
the pre-flood, yep.
Before Noah did the ark, right? So all scientists agree there was a big flood around the world because all ancient cultures talk about it. Now they're finding the remnants, or should I say they're finding the ancient buildings of things that used to exist, what they're saying before the flood. And they're finding out these guys were so genius to make these thingies. Like they had tools building these ancient structures. It had to be machines. That's the rabbit hole we're going down. That's what, you can't hide it. Chief, they can't hide it from the media anymore. No matter how much the powers that be, the gatekeepers, people are realizing, whoa, the ancient past was not as dumb as everybody thought it was.
Kind of like Atlantis.
They already
it's discovered. But fun fact, if you look at the globe and if you can imagine like all the countries and the little dots and islands, that being one piece. And then as time goes on, they
had a scientific name for that. It was every continent was one thing before it popped, a big volcano popped and broke it up, or a meteor, they say. Different theories. Pangea, I think it was called, or something like that. But it does make a lot of sense. For us in the Polynesian and the Oceania sector, they said that the islands that we're living on, there's actually more islands, like Hawaii, like where I'm at, Hawaii. It's deeper. Like a lot of the stuff, the islands we lived on sunk into the ocean. Mm-hmm. Like how they're saying Samoa is sinking under Tonga. Americans found Kukuila sinking under Tonga. So a lot of what we're living on used to be the tops of mountains, but now it's the valleys are sinking. To add to Atlantis, then they talk about this other, I don't know if it's a mythical or legendary land, which was Lemuria. All these things come along, but where are we going at? We're going, the Mexican president, a world leader, is bringing this to the news. Doesn't that blow your mind? Like,
it's a president. That means all his intel is correct. Allegedly.
Allegedly. I think a lot of it too is like, I mean, of course, if you have a leader saying something like that, you have followers. It's gonna either put weight onto that whole, what cryptids are. But I think like for us indigenous folks, it's nothing new under the sun for us. And so it's kind of like, yeah, whether he was president or not, yeah, that's real.
I'm going to make a prediction. The next president of the United States for 2024 is going to say there's UFOs.
You heard it here, folks, at Wefobz Podcast. The next one.
Just might be Trump.
We called it first.
I'm sorry, man. I don't think that guy gonna win, man.
You never know.
Trump gang.
I don't think they're gonna win. I mean, come on now.
Trump passed through.
Oh man, we're gonna get political with okay, we're gonna get political. I'll tell you guys why I think it's not gonna win. America is the land of winners. A loser comes along, you get put to the side like big time. That guy lost everything. He may have won one time, but then the way that I feel that the politicians, the way they work, and then the economy too, because it's tied to it, they don't want to put their lot in with losers. They want to put their lot in with winners. And on the Republican side, you already know they got a battle going on. Ron DeSantis is over there going to pop his thingy. So we're going to see who wins between him and Trump, right?
Wrong.
And then that's my prediction. That's what whoever's president is going to announce UFOs. My other prediction is I don't think Trump's going to win the nomination from the Republican race. It's going to be somebody else. It may just be Ron. That's what I'm predicting. What are you all calling?
Dwayne Johnson's good run. And he's gonna have a lot of it.
It's so funny.
I'm gonna say another prediction just to put it in there. I mean, these are predictions in my opinion, ladies and gents, boys and girls. Biden is gonna run for the Democrats, but I think he's gonna get sick. Something's gonna happen to old man Biden.
Well, he's pretty old.
Yeah.
He can only go so far, man. He couldn't figure out how to go up some stairs, so.
Well, if you look at it, I think we all have experience with this old age. Like when he slurs his word, he is sharp. Like you can catch that he's sharp, but there's little times when he's slurring his words. And then there was a time he just recently fell on the Air Force One again. He fell down. That is indicative of old age catching up to you. I mean, sad to say. It's going to be a very interesting 2024 going forward.
Yeah, that is true.
I just say whoever, whether it's Republican president or Democrat president, they're going to say there's UFOs.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. But, well, and that was a fun topic. That's going to put us get us on a little high note there. What do y'all think? You ready for the next final topic before we start winding things down for the Wefobz podcast?
Yeah.
All right. So this next one is a very heavy topic for the Samoan people, especially us. I think it's relatable to a lot of others, though, in their sense. We're going to be talking about Faalavelave. The person, Gray, I'm going to let you take it away with Faalavelave, but before we do that, can you all help me with translating what Faalavelave is for our English non-Samoan speakers? Because I have my definition in my mind, but I don't know. I'll say it after you all say it. You know what? I should just say it. I always call Faalavelave, like before I used to call it the ceremony of giving, but then I refined it to the definition of the obligation of giving within the Samoan culture.
I call it the bankruptcy.
Yeah, I was just about to say something like that. Yeah, it's I get goosebumps when oh my gosh, yeah, bankruptcy sounds more.
Great. Could you elaborate what's going on here? Talk to us.
I feel like I'm gonna have to plead the fifth on this one. I feel like I'm gonna have to choose my words very carefully.
Hey, how do you say allegedly in Samoan?
Pepelo. Or I want Pepelo.
Ole,
Or
Samuel Kamalea.
like Kiki le Pepelo and like Kiki for the Bebo.
Well, I mean, what are you referring to, Faalavelave, sis? I mean, there's so many different. I mean, are we talking about weddings, funerals? You know, there's so many different kind of Faalavelave, right?
Well, that's why I said it's like the obligation of giving within the tradition of the Samoan culture. That's why I call it. That's the best way I can explain it to people, like other people who don't speak our language, and they're like, and I give them this example. You're gonna, when you gotta build a house on different land, you gotta give a pig. You gotta offer up a pig. So, that's kind of the same with us. If we gotta do something, we gotta offer something to do something. If we're gonna celebrate something, we offer something to do something. And I think where all of you are coming from with that bankruptcy stuff is it gets to the point where there's too much giving, everybody trying to outgive the other person while not checking their bank accounts.
Maybe I'm just speaking out of my own personal frustrations when it comes to Faalavelave, but I always think of a leprechaun.
A leprechaun?
Leprechaun? Elaborate, bro. That's an interesting one. Go.
No, because it seems like the idea that, well, been in America this long, supposed to have this magical tree with money, and some way somehow we managed to find this leprechaun with this gold, and we found the tree that has all the leaves of money, and we managed to pull it off.
Are you referring to like a specific person or like America itself?
I'm talking about every Faalavelave. It kind of surrounds like the idea that there's some kind of competition going on, that like endless money supply. Like it's supposed to be like everyone has that. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone's got a flood of money coming from somewhere.
I like how we're going about this, and Gray's just up here.
Trey, don't be moved back, though.
If you really think about it, like if you translate the word Faalavelave in English, what does it mean? What's the translation?
Emergency?
Interruption, pest. I mean, like bugaboo. You name it.
Well,
I wish it was leave me alone.
Like, what you want, bitch? Excuse me. Bothering me.
Oh man, this is such a Americanized view.
But you like Chieflott was saying, right? Like Chieflott was saying, man, you guys seen that Netflix the New Zealand movie, the Cascaders? The Cascaders.
Oh man, is it out? What?
It's been out. It's on Netflix. It's basically the couples. So the guy is Tongan and the wife is Maorian, and they run a funeral home.
Man, I gotta watch that.
Yeah,
it's a good one, man. It came out in 2018. Looking out for our Polynesians, but it's hella funny. But they one of the episodes they said Samoans. When we deal with Samoans, you will see a whole lot of all the sections laying all over the ground. But we Samoans are their number one clients that they spend money. It's like they love handling, Samoan business, because our culture, when it comes to funeral, is like Lotu saying, lucky charm. Every business that knows about Islanders, I mean, even like Grace in LA, Gray in LA stores, I mean, all the Samoan stores, they can charge those prices up. It don't matter. They're gonna buy it. It's lucky charm, man. Faalavelave.
I mean, go ahead, Gray. I'll speak after you, just to focus more on Faalavelave, like make people understand more about it.
I think my interpretation of it would be Samoan insurance. And I say Samoan insurance because it's more of a like we think it's funny, and it's a very common topic amongst families, marriages, and just as a Samoan growing up. And what we don't realize is that that's kind of what keeps it going and what keeps it alive, as far as like our obligations in continuing the whole process and the rituals as far as like unions and funerals and the openings of the groundbreakings of churches. It's people coming together to support the cause of whatever the traditions and the customs are. And so even, I mean, yeah, I think we can all day talk about, give with a clean heart and give with what your bank account can afford. However, at the end of the day, like when you go to these funerals and these marriages of people you've never met, but you're like the 10th cousin or probably even the first and you just didn't know. There's yeah, but there's like a sense of pride in seeing your lineage come together, even as strangers and as Samoans. I feel like as a Samoan living out here in California, I think it's I don't, I support it, financially when I can, which is 99.9% of the time, not by choice.
You're
However,
a leprechaun. You're a leprechaun.
but but it's one of those things like we kind of komumu here and there about having to contribute, but what we don't realize is that we're probably one of the cultures in the Polynesian realm that are still practicing the importance and the power of family lineage. And sometimes that, like every family and every group of subcultures in the United States, like we all have our dysfunctions. We're always going to see the auntie that annoys the heck out of you, the uncle who says his kids are the greatest thing in America, and the kids who are all college educated, kids. A part, we all have that, and I think that when you think of Faalavelave, it's almost like that's where we all break bread. And that's where all lineages come together. And even though this is the last dollar that I have, and my kids are probably eating Simeen, for the next 2 weeks, I'm I feel like to be vested. Well, but that's the thing. It kind of goes back to personal choice. And I feel like for those of us who live in the United States and any other Western countries, there's that finding that balance of being able to manage your home life and our responsibility to keeping our culture and our customs alive, healthy. And but I feel like even with that healthy aspect to it, there's always dysfunction. No, there's no perfect family and there's no perfect way of putting things. It's just ultimately at the end of the day, when you finish the Faalavelave, in spite of you giving your probably your rent money, I'm not saying that's okay. What I'm saying is that is how I at least for me, when I witness things like that and people come together and they make things happen, I feel like that's just as powerful because I sit with people who come from broken homes and I sit with people who have no families. So trust and believe, I'm always grateful all day, every day, even if I have to, contribute to something that I probably don't agree with. But, just as far as like, because you think of Faalavelave in English, it means bothersome interruption. Faalavelave daily life and your routine.
Great. Come
life,
again.
right?
You kind of broke up there. What was it in English? What did you say it was in English?
Bothersome or like, I think in the if you Google it, it says interruption of your daily routine or daily life. And so the thing is that, when it comes to Faalavelave and family, genuinely as a Samoan, it's never an interruption because at the end of the day, we break bread with family. And it goes back to like, if you guys look at the layout of like Samoan homes, the whakamalo, right? You look in the Western culture, a lot of the buildings and the homes have rooms. There's the concept of privacy. you look in Samoan homes, like real, like the actual traditional Samoan homes, there is no such thing as privacy. We share everything. We sleep together, and you know, the beauty of that is the connectedness of being human beings and being family. And you know, with that also comes a lot of the other issues that come with it. But you know, nobody's perfect, and I think that we lose that sense of family centeredness when we really delve ourselves into like other cultures, or you know, in countries like this. Not a horrible thing, but I think that, you know, again, back to the whole Faalavelave part, I feel like it's always a choice. And yeah, sorry, that's my opinion.
Chief, Puni, you want to spread some light before I say my piece?
No, we'll go ahead. Still got a lot to, yeah.
It's that bad. So I guess it's
You
from
know,
the
like questions. You guys, we should have broke this into like the questions for Faalavelave, you know?
I know where you're
Is
coming
it-
from, Puni. That's
is it
why
like
go ahead,
good-
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. There, you know, we should have been like, so what's the positive thing of a Faalavelave? And what's the negative thing about Faalavelave? And what's the drama part of Faalavelave and the comedian side of Faalavelave? I think if we break it into those categories, you know, we all have valuable opinions on it. Go ahead.
I think
Guys, so
I also
smooth.
want to add in because I want to get it a little more basic too, because I feel that there's two different types of Faalavelave in general. There's the commonplace one, and then there's the formal one. The commonplace one is like if something happens, like an accident, that's when people use the word Faalavelave. Oh, there's a Faalavelave happened, and they're like, what happened? Somebody got into a car accident, or oh, your baby doodle in the diaper, kind of thingy. That's a commonplace use of the word Faalavelave. But then I believe the one that we all are like having this bad taste in our mouth about,
Like a cue.
is the formal use of the word Faalavelave, which again I refer back to the definition, which is a obligation of giving. And Grace said it has a beautiful, which she is right. Like I believe that's the right side to. It's a beautiful aspect of bringing people together, honoring the traditions and ceremonies from past ancestors that were passed on. But I think you need to go deeper, because what happened is, to me, it's transformed into this money sucking machine. If you really want to go Faalavelave traditional, then we would have stuck with, you know, the way they did it back then is whatever they had they could give, like a chicken, some clocks back in the day. There wasn't a lot of money back in the 1800s moving on for our ancestors. It's whatever they could give to recognize and honor whatever's going on, whether it was a funeral, a marriage, a birthday party, the crowning of a chief, right? But now it's become where, and I think this is where Chief and Puni has their experience, like buy more and give more to show people that we're up there on that different status when it comes to the formal sense of Faalavelave. Show people, oh, they dropped $100 on it. Let's drop 200. Give it to that family over there that had that birthday party. Then another family would come along and say, oh, they put 200? Here, 300 to show we've got pride in what we do to that family over there for their birthday party. That's just, I'm trying to simplify. Does that kind of, because
That's actually a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing in a sense to where that's what I'm saying. It's that level of pride.
well, that's what I'm trying to get at. Some people don't look at it as a good thing. Well, a lot of people don't look at it as a good thing, because by the end of the day, it actually, to me, it's kind of like, I don't hate to put this out there. It's kind of like when you're giving to the church, well, like, yes, give the clothes off your back and stuff like that. But then I feel like there needs to be a limit set to where, if you're going to give, in a sense, you need to understand, you already brought it up. Like, I'm gonna feed my kids salmon and stuff, but seriously, you're gonna put in for a Faalavelave over taking care of your kids? Like, that's just me. That's my view. Like, and you kind of said it before, Gray, and in our previous topic. Take care of your front porch first before taking care of others. I think that what I want to bring that into the Faalavelave sense. I don't know.
But I think that's what I mean. It's like it's finding that balance, because I feel like, you know, as adults and you know, respectfully understanding that aspect of our culture, it's important for us to be vocal about things like that. And you know, even with that, like I know that, you know, when it comes to our elders, as far as like vocalizing our opinions, if we go right, we don't just like open up our mouth and say, hey unks, why don't we do this and this. You know, there's a time and place for everything. And sometimes it's just one of those things where you just, I'm not gonna say just roll with it, but it kind of goes back to understanding the heart and the intention behind what we do. Are we doing it in name, or are we doing it, you know, for praises? And I feel like when there is that level of communication and that bond between you and your family members or your clan, I think the biggest distinction to it is understanding that there is no perfect family. And I hope I'm not going off topic, but that's like the inner core of who we are as Samoans. And I feel like ultimately at the end of the day, it's like, if your mom and dad ask you, okay, we're having Samoa XYZ, yeah, we're gonna Kumumu still, but we're still gonna give our parents some money, right? That's just, I feel like that's just what we do. However, but with that also comes the understanding that I got 7 kids, and my mom likes to ask me for Faalavelave money left and right. So I'm gonna probably be conscious about that. And that's, I feel like that's what I mean with the healthy aspect of looking at Faalavelave in that manner, because I don't want to be an angry giver, but I also don't want to really just give because there's no purpose in what we're doing. And I'll probably have my opinion here and there. That does sound a little contradicting. However, I think that it's the bigger picture of it, you know, the traditions of, you know, passing on. It's like at the end of the day, even with the glitz and glam of however a Faalavelave is perceived, I think the focal point of it is, if I were to try to pass something on to like kids or my kids or, you know, the kids, it would be that, you know, at the end of the day, this is who we are. We come together, we break bread, we talk stories, we get
I think you made your point, lady.
Okay.
Great. Yeah. How about this? When I grew up, my grandma used to make ikongas, right? And I remember when that was the actual
money
currency, right? And the more you bring, wouldn't that be the value? Wouldn't that be? And then the next level would be if you brought pigs, and then the next one would be the cows and stuff. Like that was our trades back in the days. At least that's how I remember back when my grandma was alive, and seeing all this with my own eyes. And I think the money now, the currency now, being replacing all the materialistic stuff that I would see my family make, especially my grandma, day in, day out. She would make it, and she'd make our falas for our house and our pulumu and the whole nine. I think that makes a big influence in this whole switch off, and just took away from the nature of the purpose of the whole giving for family times of needs, right? Because the cultural aspect of it, I honor that. Like it's the whole family orientation, fellowship within the process of a Faalavelave is what is unique, and it's what I'm proud of. But all the other stuff that I think the switch off of the currency is where the drama comes in, and then now I feel like a leprechaun instead of someone that's going from the side, and I'm obligated, or you know what I mean? Yeah, it's kind of want to throw in there.
Puni Moa.
I like that. I'd rather have you guys give me which Faalavelave do you want instead of going all over the place. I mean, I'll probably go like let's start off with
Let's start off with the one that
let's-
hits home, man. The one your
the
most
one.
recent
Okay,
Faalavelave.
no, let's leave the best for the last, right? So of
Oh.
course the worst for Faalavelaves, the worst part about a Faalavelave is yes, the money issue, because everybody in a family of Samoans does not make the same amount of money. And it all depends whoever the chiefs and the old folks that are running a family. If it's the families that the chiefs and the old folks are, their careers are successful, of course they're gonna raise the budget up for the family. And if they're not even aware of the whole entire family, that they don't have the same amount of money that the leaders have, it all falls on the leader. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It all falls on the
Yeah.
chiefs and the old folks, the elders.
Yep.
Because there are, just like a regular corporate job of America. If
Yep.
the leader's not good, everything else is not going to work out. So that's the bad thing about it. And yes, I've experienced a bad leader or a chief in when I was young, and the money was very expensive when it came to like all the families putting in money. And then as I'm getting older, I have experienced great chief leaders who they see the value of their family, and it's all about making sure just because one brother or sister doesn't have it, the whole point of the family was stressed out was, look, if one doesn't have it and you have it, we're all going to call each other that we all put it in together. It's
Right.
not one person, the other person. It's
Right.
whatever you put in. If you put in this much and your sister puts in a penny, it's okay. Thank you for you, number one, son, covering our family. That's and now that's where the division comes out from the kids, like siblings, because now the siblings are like arguing, like the one that gives the most, they started getting bitter, and the ones that give the less, they're just kind of free birding all over the place, and that's the bad part.
That's human. That's human. It happens. Behavioral.
Human nature, right?
They'll
Now,
feel
when
like that.
The drama of Faalavelave, that's all about, from my understanding and what I witnessed, it's basically just a miscommunication. And a lot of drama comes between, let's just say, for example, it's a father and mother, right? And they have 3 kids. Let's just say that the mom passed away, right? So the father and his 3 kids, or, they make a decision, and they're like, okay, that's what we're going to go with. But they forget that the wife or mother that passed away has her own siblings and her own parents too. They're not discounting their feelings. They're just the husband and his kids are just feeling like, well, this is my wife, this is our mother, we're going to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
But then they forget that the mom that passed away has 2 parents too, and siblings.
Their lineages that like Ray was saying. Yep, keep going.
Yep. And that's where that whole drama comes up. That's one kind of drama that happens. The next drama that happens could be between our chiefs, our Mackays, and the elders. That right there, you guys already know.
Yep.
It can go
whose title is higher than the next, and who has the best speech rather than the next.
Exactly. Who can deliver it best.
And who has the most to give. Yep.
Yes. And you know how we like how Chieflott was saying, now that Faalavelave comes in, when they start passing the gifts to the visitors, the pastors, the Faife'aus, that exchange, that's another drama that the family gets mad at, because now whoever's the chief and the leader, what was talked to the family, and they're in the front there, they could be showing off, giving away too much. And the family was like, man, we just told you not to give all the way up, but they're pretty much giving out the farm. Now that's just the drama part of it. Now, the other kind of Faalavelave, to me, I feel like it's the comedian part, is this what we call Makai Falis. You know what I'm saying? Where you have you have you have family members who haven't seen the other family members for a long time, and then all of a sudden they just start meeting up and making out, and you don't even know that's your cousin. And you know, Faalavelave, right? Exactly. And also those kind of Faalavelave, let's be real. You know, pastors, that's where pastors can lose their job, because they can be up there preaching a good thing, and next you know, some women just feeling them, and that's how some fight fit outs unfortunately lose their job through Faalavelave being that man, you know.
I like how you categorize that in the
Yeah.
comedy section, man.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? You just, and then
man.
what about the old ladies that cry on the grave? Oh, we're so bad. We're all like, man, hurry up, just push her in the grave with them. You know, it's like, you know, they're taking their time just crying. It's always the one that cries the loudest is the one that's never around. You know, the one that cries the loudest.
Well, you know what, bro? That actually, everything you explained there, though we may figure it's to the Samoan, it actually does happen to a lot of other indigenous cultures and stuff, especially people in general. It's always the one who cried the loudest that never did.
Now, here's the beauty. Now, this is the cream of the crop about our island and our, what is it, Faalavelave. I love when all our family gets together, when everything's done, and they sit down with the chiefs and all the elders, and then they enter into the family and acknowledge us all who worked hard and put in the money. And then whatever was left, they start giving it out of whatever was left. And that's the part where they start teaching us the culture and reminding us why we do what we do, all the hard work. And that's where like Chieflott, Gray, and guysosmooth was talking about the beauty of it, is where you start learning about your culture, where you came from, and why we are the way we are. And that what makes Samoans different from the world. They always say us, you know, like Kiki and Maingi, meaning that we're really small, something tiny, but man, it's like a firecracker when it pops. And I mean, it just shows. It shows in sports.
Like a dynamite.
Yeah, we like a dynamite. We show in sports, we show in politics, we show in everywhere around the world, you know, even in entertainment. I mean, we're just such a little island, and how much I believe, and you all know, because we are all about God. And the fact that our faith in the Lord, that we always pray. And when we don't pray, our mom and dads are praying for us. If they're not praying, I mean, we got so many prayer warriors, our grandpas, our grandmas, our aunties, we pray for each other too. So we got all this chain of connection of prayers. And that's where I believe, you know how it all goes back to the Bible. When one or two praise the Lord, everything else just happens. And that's the beauty about Samoa. And then, you know, we always sing all those Samoan songs. Everything always ends with the Lord. And that's the beauty of the Faalavelave. Yeah, man.
Okay.
Bravo.
Done,
Bravo.
son.
Bravo.
Beautiful, beautiful. There you have it, ladies and gents. I just want to, I'll close this note on the Faalavelave. Yeah, I kind of also want to put on some game to our Wefobz Nation. When you're speaking about Faalavelave, I think if you all didn't catch on, we're all going back to where we come from, why we exist. The question is the why we exist and stuff. And you talk about culture. You look up the definition of culture. It's all the wisdom collected and all the things learned by peoples, right? And it's been passed down from generation to generation. If you get to the basics of basics, this is through my studies and there's a thing they call do your own research within my profession and my practices, but I want to put on to my Wefobz Nation members and also to Chieflott, Gray, and Puni Moa. You take it back, the culture. Why does our culture exist? The culture exists because it was a way that our people survived back in these hard ancient days. Okay, they were passing on practices of survival. Okay? There was things where you go to the ocean and you can't overfish the ocean, and they would have that word tapu. Well, you know, This is knowledge put on to me by the great Eki Saanga. He passed away. He used to be the writer for Congressman Faalavelave, who also the late Congressman Faalavelave. And he said a lot of the culture exists in La Samoan. The way he puts it, it was a very wise way. It exists because it was practices of survival that was passed on to us from our great ancestors, how we were supposed to survive and go forward. The whole reason for the giving and stuff was to help your neighbor survive. You would give, like, that's why if there was a birth or that there was a death here, take this, what little we have to help you get through these tough times so you could survive. If you're alive today, please understand, whether you're Samoan, whether you're Tongan, Fijian, all the whatever people you are, you're native, please understand your ancestors survived that long to bear you onto this earth. So don't disrespect them. You are alive because of them. You know how tough life was just for them to get you to be here today? That's a whole new pride in of itself, everybody, ladies and gents, Wefobz Nation. Also to all our listeners and then our host here. You who are alive today are alive because of your ancestors survived the most brutal of lives to get here. So you're a survivor. You're straight. The Faalavelave plays into it for us because it's our commemoration of that survival. That's what I believe. That survival and that respect towards our ancestors for keeping us alive and for bearing us today as we continue and bear our kids, our grandkids. It's the echo of them from the past to us to the future. Deep topic. Definitely loving it.
Well
Thank
said.
you all for those
For
very, very deep insights into the Bible. If you have any comments, questions, just ask them below, because I know all of you may have a lot to talk about. You saw the viewpoints from Puni Moa, Gray, and Chieflott right there. We're going to go through these next ones very quickly. But before we do that, can we take a little commercial break?
Let's go, man.
All right. So Wefobz is brought to you by Wefobz Enterprise, and we're talking about the Wefobz Nation store. You're going to definitely want to check out the Wefobz Nation store. There's a bunch of things over there that you probably want to pick up. The Wefobz Nation store sells a lot of things that Wefobz Nation members are interested in. Check it out. We've got cool merchandise over there. We've got also things pertaining to, interests such as anime, utensils from the kitchen, whatever. The whole friggin' lot of them. We also got bestseller section in that Wefobz Nation store. In our bestseller section, you can find everything that Wefobz Nation members usually order on sites such as Amazon and so forth. We are an Amazon affiliate, so whenever you're clicking or you're buying something from our Wefobz Nation store's bestseller section, you're definitely investing into Wefobz. And there you have it, Wefobz at wefobz.io. Wefobz. And we're back. Ooh, those are definitely some topic. Those are definitely some cool topics we covered right there. It's always interesting to see what my fellow hosts think about different things we bring up. And we'd like to see what you all think about it. But with that, let's move on into the Wefobz Updates for our Wefobz podcast. So far, we haven't done too much. We were just waiting for this nice podcast to come along and we start putting out. Make sure you check us out at wefobz.io. During the commercial break, we got a lot of stuff going over there on our website. Do understand that as we go forward, we're building this nation of like-minded individuals. Some of you may be there. If you want to join us, hit us up. You know where to find us, right here. And then finally, let's get into following the market, or following where the money goes, as we put it. Following the market with Wefobz. Here's some of the things you all can address for today or tonight or wherever, wherever. So far, NFTs and cryptocurrency has been big in the news lately, and it looks like the general media is trying its hardest to push cryptocurrency and NFTs into a negative light, but then the positivity from these things just keep coming. The cryptocurrency market looks like it was on a rise for a while there until the feds said they're not going to stop raising interest rates for all people in America. So that kind of took the market for a low run, especially the stock market. Our boy Elon Musk is back at the world's as the world's richest man again. His Tesla stock has jumped up in percentage price, which put him back up as the richest man because he lost the title to another guy. I think it was another billionaire, but he's regained it. What else do we have here? Some of the things to look out for is Microsoft has put ChatGPT into is getting it into its computers as Bing, B-I-N-G. You guys remember the search bar Bing? So Microsoft embedded ChatGPT into Bing. You can use they're going full scale on that. They put a couple $2 billion. They only released the trial version or the beta version to about 1 million people, but they're looking to release it to all Microsoft Windows users. As we said before on the podcast, that's where things are going. Google is still trying to fix their AI. Something went wrong with their AI after our last podcast. They had their AI gave out like a wrong answer to something, so they had to go back and clear that up. Apple is also looking to getting into the AI business. Apple is also looking to get into the car business and making their own cars. Interesting. Very, very interesting. These are things everybody needs to keep a check of with the trends on where the market is going, because you want to know, okay, what is the next big thing and how can I get in on it? And when we tell you to get in on it, how can you invest into it? One of the funny things, have any of you ever heard of like people saying that Bill Gates, it's a conspiracy that he's buying up all his farmland all over the US? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Well, Bill Gates came out and said why he actually addressed everybody why he's doing it. He says, I do not own 80% of all US farmland, as people say, because the conspiracy theory was he's buying up all this farmland to control the food that we eat. And, you know, his whole fascination with vaccinations and stuff like that. And they're saying Bill Gates is just trying to put like microchips or something into our food or something like that. I may get it wrong. Anyhow, he came out and said, no, I'm not doing that. I only own less than 1/4000th of the farmland in the US. And the only reason he bought farmland was to keep people afloat and keep businesses afloat. Because some of them are businesses he has ties to. That's what he said there. That's about it. I mean, on the final following the market, TikTok is people within the US government have 30 days to take TikTok off of their devices, all their devices. It's being banned within all federal devices within 30 days. The ban for TikTok itself is coming.
About time. Sorry.
But you know, it's sad because there's a lot of people that made their money off of TikTok.
Yeah.
Which you all might want to focus back on Facebook, Instagram, and what was the other one? Snapchat. And it's a good thing Wefobz is on there.
I don't like the idea of China being in charge of TikTok.
Yeah.
Yes. Which
I don't like that being a U.S. citizen too.
No, they actually said it. Again, referring to a Joe Rogan podcast, Joe Rogan went and read the stipulations. So the fine print. So the fine print on the TikTok, when you agree to it, it says we are allowed to go into your device and take out all the information you have on your device.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Mm-hmm.
We are allowed to record your keystrokes. We are allowed to go into if you have email on your device, we can go into your email. He read that all out. I deleted the damn thing after I saw the podcast. So
I did too, and then I turned it back on.
Just
Actually,
go ahead and ban it, man. It's just bad habit.
It's like, to me, I'm like, well, shoot, who you got? I started asking, well, who are they really targeting? They ain't targeting our people.
but it'll be another
Celebrities
story.
on there.
I know, right? But what happens if we all make it? We hit it big. Then we double think that, right? Because if our bank accounts start reflecting, then we'll double think. Okay, stay out of mine. Actually, I call that if and when we all make it and we all get up there, we're all gonna really rarely be using a lot of these forums.
What are you talking about? We're already making it. We on live, boy.
So, with that being said, live artificial intelligence, we called it here. It's becoming where the market is going. You heard it here at Wefobz. Wefobz talked about it way before it happened.
Correct. I want to throw something in, man. Hey,
Go
that
ahead.
ChatGPT, man. I just did an experiment. I did my resume, a new resume with a cover letter, and I had ChatGPT make it out for me. I picked a random spot to just go and apply for it, submitted the application, and a few hours later, I got a phone call for an interview or an offer to work for the job.
Oh, so see, I'm about to do that right now.
Oh man,
That's how powerful this bad boy is. And I'm telling you, it didn't take me more than 10 minutes to put it together. It was just a mind blown. And I knew that because it said it says the right things, it does the right things, it knows it better than anybody else. It punched everything out. I put a whole resume and the cover letter that it wrote as well, submitted into for a job application, and actually got an offer for the job made by AI. Wow.
Thank you, AI, for the love.
I love that you all are loving the AI. There are some people out there hella afraid of AI because that it could take their jobs.
Take it. Please take it.
I did the same thing on the AI. I experienced the like the, what is that called, Chieflott? The like in your business, because I just started up the business, and it's one of the state things told me to, like, it's always good to have a business plan. And I started Googling, what is a business plan? It's like all these stuff that you got to write down, the mission statement of your business, the purpose, and the why. I asked ChatGPT to go ahead and write me up one. It only took a few minutes. Posted that on my website. I'm like, there you go. That's my mission statement. It brings up stuff that you don't even think about. Like it breaks it all in categories. I'm like, whoo-wee, that's cool.
So as you all know, Wefobz Nation, we're with the innovation. We love to keep with it. You could be either against it or for it, but you can't deny that it's happening. It's coming. Whether you ride the wave or not, we're not financial advisors, but the plays that we're going on to is we're riding this wave. We're going to take it as far as it goes because it's a tool, right? And like all other tools, it depends on who uses the tool and what. All the other social stipulations with artificial intelligence, that could be sorted out in the future. But for now, Wefobz is riding that wave. And there you have it, first-hand experience by Chief and Puni Moa. Gray, any experience with the artificial intelligence? Have you used ChatGPT and all the other similar things yet?
It's funny you guys say that because I just seen that in my work emails. Like, what the heck is this? But I haven't tapped into it. My insight is just trying to still freaking use the Microsoft calendar. But even that is that's crazy. And when you brought up that whole the TikTok thing, it's like you come to a realization that like all that data collection, not even to go there, but that's like a filter to understanding basically what the population, the needs and the demands of the population, and being able to supply that need. And I feel like China, with the whole TikTok thing, that's skillfully, strategized to target, like, this is where the money's at. So of course, put it out in the US, because Americans love that, about me life. And why isn't it in, some of those Asian countries? It's actually banned. And so this is where, land of milk and honey. You have, and it kind of, it's really crazy, because then that's what I mean about these other countries. There's these values as far as like how they look at life and how they perceive things to be. So it's like, why do that in my own home country? Let me do it over here because I can make money off of these guys. They like to, in that sense, but
I'm going to add to that. See, for us, I'm not going to knock a person's hustle unless it affects us in a negative way, which, like you're saying, that's, man, if the country's doing that to make money, let the country make money. Yeah. If only our homeland could catch on.
I mean, as long as if the people behind it was not China, I would be much more comfortable.
Yeah.
But I think, Chief, you and I talked about it, man. We are all getting butthurt over China taking all the information. Yes, it's a rival country and all that. Everybody understand that Google already has all your information?
Yeah, there's
Google, and they already got all your information.
China has,
yeah, so it's for us, it's the whole it's the principle, like we can't have a rival nation having our information.
Take it.
Oh man. If it's a US company, you can take it. If it's a foreign company, hell fucking nah.
Yeah, we're just a number, a statistic to their data, and it's one of those things where it's out of your control. Yeah. And so, I mean,
until you get the power and the money to make it into your control.
True story.
Well, any other thoughts on the following the market? Puni Moa? Great, Chief.
Great topics. Great follows.
All right. I want to thank you all for coming on, man. It's about that time. Get some closing thoughts here from our hosts, and then we'll close it out for the day. We'll start right here on my boy Puni. Closing thoughts, bro. Any shout outs or closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. Keep a positive attitude. Legislate the world. You can't do that. Smoke weed. No, I'm just kidding.
allegedly smoke weed.
But I do want a shout out. I want to shout out to our followers. Appreciate y'all support. Continue to follow us. And also want to spread the love to the Sevens that was out there in LA. All the Polynesian that was out there last weekend.
Wow.
We need to get home safe.
Shout out to Troy Polamalu and the people.
Yeah, man.
For hosting them. Yeah, great. Any closing thoughts?
No. Just stay up, and yeah, I pray that everything's well.
Chief?
Yeah, man. Learn a digital skill, man. Pick something in the industry and learn it and master it and use it to your advantage. Be surprised what those skills can do today. Probably land a shot over here on Wefobz. Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody. Love y'all. And welcome to Puni Moa, man.
Yes.
Hello, turpin, I used to say unicorn for the day from Samoa.
I gotta bring some shine and swag up in here, y'all.
There you have it, ladies and gents. This has been a Wefobz production. We want to wish you all, we love you all. We see you all on the next podcast. Wefobz!